Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Two police lieutenants terminated, including union president in Bay Area city, per report. The San Francisco Bay Area town of Vallejo had a major shakeup of its police force. The San Francisco Bay Area town of Vallejo had a major shakeup of its police force announced on Friday. Two Vallejo police lieutenants have been fired by the city, while a third has been suspended. Their attorney said Friday Lieutenant Michael Nicciolini, who is president of the Vallejo Police Union, and Lieutenant Herman Robinson were both terminated, said their attorney Michael Raines. KTVU reported Friday. Nicciolini and Rodriguez were accused of playing a part in the destruction of a police truck windshield after an officer shot and killed Sean Matarosa last year. Nicciolini was also accused of threatening a newspaper columnist and intimidating Vallejo civil rights attorney Melissa Node. Reporter Otis Taylor, who had announced he was leaving the San Francisco Chronicle to work for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, posted to a Twitter copy of the email he received from Nicciolini. Nicciolini was also accused of intimidating civil rights attorney Melissa Node, who shared her thoughts on his firing to her Twitter account. And you can find this on Twitter, Henry K. Lee, at Henry K. Lee KTVU, all one word. So basically, I think it was a shooting last year, I believe in the Bay Area. Let's see. Okay. So it's saying it was a deadly shooting, and let's see. A second Vallejo police lieutenant is on paid leave in connection with the destruction of a police truck windshield in the wake of a deadly shooting by a detective, sources told KTVU. Lieutenant Fabio Rodriguez, who oversees the detective division, was put on leave by Vallejo Police Chief Shawnee Williams. The chief had previously placed Lieutenant Michael Nicciolini, who is president of the police union, on leave. On June 2nd, Detective Jared Ton fired his rifle from the backseat of a moving police truck driven by another detective as they arrived outside a Walgreens that was being looted, sources said. The shots pierced the windshield of the unmarked Ford truck, killing Sean Matarosa, 22. Tom mistook Matarosa's hammer for a gun, authorities said. Matarosa's family said he was kneeling and surrendering, but the chief said Matarosa was crouching down in a half-kneeling position and appeared to be reaching for the butt of a gun. No weapon was found. Several days after the shooting, the truck's windshield was removed and a new window was installed without prior approval by Williams or the city attorney. Civil rights attorney John Burris, who represents Matarosa's family, said he had hoped to conduct an independent analysis of the windshield. Melissa Node, an attorney who previously represented the family, suggested that the windshield removal may have been part of an effort to conceal evidence. How could this happen without some sort of corruption or cover-up? Is going to be very hard to understand, I think, for most of us, Node said. But in an interview with KTVU, attorney Michael Raines, who represents the two lieutenants, said the truck and windshield were properly photographed, documented, and analyzed by crime scene technicians outside the Walgreens. Police followed standard protocol in processing the scene, Raines said, adding, "Nobody's trying to hide anything. It's much ado about nothing," Raines said of the outcry over the windshield. "I think the chief has sold them out, is what I think. I think it's shameful." Raines said Nicciolini is head of fleet maintenance but had nothing to do with the decision to repair the truck. The other lieutenant, whom Raines declined to identify by name, took the initiative to do so, but only after detectives under his command and already got in quotes with respect to the repair. Raines said those detectives are trained investigators who recognized that the windshield had already been analyzed. The department also needed the truck back in service, Raines said. So now, also an attorney for the Vallejo Police Union apologized Wednesday for an email sent to a news reporter that the journalist called a thinly veiled threat. The attorney, Michael Raines, said the email sent by the union president, Vallejo Police Lieutenant Michael Nicolini, was not meant to be a threat, but rather a message outlining the rank and file's frustration over the journalist's reporting. The timing of that letter and even the content was ill-advised, Raines said. I understand the perception that something like that can have as a lawyer, and for that reason, I certainly want to apologize to Mr. Taylor. In an interview with KTVU, Taylor said, it is chilling to me as a black man in America to have the police say that they're going to warn their colleagues about my arrival. He added, especially with the outsized power that police officers and police unions have, they should know better. And this Henry K. Lee put this message out. And like I said, you can go to @HenryK.Lee KTVU on Twitter, or you could type in henryk.lee and he's verified. He has a check mark by him. Vallejo Police Chief Shawnee Williams said the department is investigating the incident. In a statement, Williams said, we do not condone any form of disrespect, discourteous behavior, or act of intimidation toward our media partners. The email was sent to Otis Taylor Jr., a columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle, who is moving to Atlanta to take a new job as an investigative reporter. The email said that 2021 will be a little better not having your biased and uninformed articles printed in a newspaper. It also said we will warn our Georgia colleagues of your impending arrival. Taylor had reported on the Vallejo Police Department. He told KTVU that Nicolini had repeatedly declined to respond to his request for comment. Nicolini is already on leave for his alleged role in the destruction of a police truck windshield after a deadly shooting by an officer. Otis R. Taylor Jr., you can find him on Twitter at Otis R. Taylor Jr. A going away message just landed in my inbox from @Vallejo POA. It's a thinly veiled threat. The police in Vallejo have operated like this for decades. The police in Vallejo have an adversarial relationship with the truth. Please keep digging into the department's history. All right, so let's see. Somebody sent me a message. Facts. All right. So basically, looking at this situation, the police are dirty. They shot a kid. Well, what else is new? They always shoot a kid that's black. You know, if he reaching for something. That's why I tell all my nephews and all my cousins, don't reach for anything. Just get on the ground. Give yourself up. Don't do any extracurriculum stuff because they are already taught to shoot you. And I'm tired of these people trying to say, oh, well, it's not just Black Lives. Look, we don't associate with the Black Lives Matter organization because they're dirty. They're only about money. And it's two lesbians who are in charge of it. And a Jew. So they don't cater to the blacks who really need help. Tamir Rice has complained about them. So we need to have our own blacks, own people that are black, who are really black and who's really in the grease of things to help push a narrative to try to push these police officers to have some retraining. Now, I also like Casino for Life's idea, which is if you're in your own neighborhood, you ought to go be a police officer. And I wish I would have done this when I was younger, being a police officer. because I would have did a lot of change. Yeah, it would have never been, it would have been overlooked, it would have been pushed, but I would have tried to get all my brothers and all my people in that police department so we could run it, so we could police our neighborhoods, police the kids that are around. Now, I'm not saying every black kid is innocent, no. And I'm not saying every white person is bad. What I'm trying to say is that the white people who we need to speak out and speak up to help us are those who are of rich, billionaires, millionaires. Those are who the ones we need to speak up and make a change. Black entertainers, they're not going to do it because they're too scared to lose their position of power where they're at. Oprah isn't going to do jack. She's a fake. Her and Gail, only time they come out is when a black man is being said that he either he's under allegations of sexual assault, or he's robbed, or he stole something. So a lot of these black entertainers do things like that. That's why I feel like we don't need these black entertainers. The reporter who was threatened, that's very classless. And for them to say that they're going to send something to their Atlanta colleagues, that just shows you how tight these police departments are. Police can be in a different city, different state, different country. They're all on one accord because they have that badge that connects them. And to me, it just shows the lack of clarity, and it shows the lack of empathy towards those who are black. And I'm not going to stop talking about things like this. I don't care if I get only 1 view for this or 2 views. I don't care if I only get 5 views. I'm not in this for recognition. I don't need anybody's recognition. I don't need somebody to validate me. What I need is for you guys to hear this, the little people who are on my page, subscribe. We're a little channel. We're for the people. For you to go out and put pressure on these police departments, to put pressure on the government politicians. Politicians aren't nothing but liars. That's all they are. All politicians do is lie, 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 and want you to support them with their BS. What have politicians really done for us? Nothing. They haven't done anything. They continue to lie to us. They continue to say, oh, we're going to do this and do that, when they're not. They're not going to do it. So the thing that we have to do is we have to stop trying to follow these entertainers and these public figures and do it ourselves. We may need to go get DeAndre, Craig, and them around the corner and try to help them get better positions, or try to put them in the police force to help the neighborhood, to put them in school or go get a trade so they can learn how to position themselves in power where they can be ones that can advocate decisions to this person and that person, and they're at the forefront to try to get something done. Now, I don't want to sound too preachy. I don't want to keep you here all day. But what those police officers did was disrespectful. They tried to cover up. This is not just in Vallejo. This is in the whole Bay Area, Oaktown, all of that stuff, San Fran, all of it. They're doing it in all those parts. Compton, Houston, Florida, St. Pete, Miami, all of that, New York, hell, DC, Chicago. They're doing all of this everywhere. And it isn't being controlled and is not being checked. Even with body cams and stuff, they're still doing what they want to do. So, and we don't need to defund the police. We need to have retraining and hire those who are qualified to be able to handle a situation. This has something to do with what they've been taught and what they continue to do. Decision making is a very low point in these people's or officers' mind, whether they're white, black, or whatever. The white officers or whoever, black, the officers need to do a better job. They are using their position of power to get things done, and they're overstepping boundaries. And to me, it has to be a change. If it's not going to be a change, there's going to be a real bad revolution to come. And police are going to start being gunned down. They're going to start being killed. Officials are going to start being killed because people are going to get tired of it. You're going to have people organize militia groups to take you down. And I mean by any means necessary. And I don't want to see it come to that, but we're really going to have a purge. It's really going to be something that serious that happens because police keep treating black men and black women like crap, especially the black men. And black people are getting sick of it. There's some whites who getting sick of it, but we need more of that. We don't need this fake Asian outcry. Asians are they are taken care of. They are given money to start up in black neighborhoods and they get to go to their little big house in the suburbs or whatever away. They're taking all the jobs. They're allowed to have credit to go buy this and do that. So I don't want to hear that crap. You guys are protected. You guys are you guys are on the same level as whites who come from other countries. Then you have others who come over here from other countries who are getting it. Not just them, Africans as well. Other people are getting paid more than those who are from that area. Why is that? Because you know why? The government isn't shit. It ain't nothing but a big police that's keeping certain people down, which are black Americans and those other Americans who are born here, keeping us down while they're letting foreigners come and reap our benefits. Thank you for listening, and we're out. Deezy.